Hi again. As you might have seen in my channel, I've got a little bit of an interest in military history, to be specific, the Second World War. And I'd just like to make a quick point, and this point being, I see, here on YouTube especially, I like to watch videos on military history and things. It's obviously especially about the Second World War, and I see a lot of people, predominantly American, making really uninformed, really poorly structured comments, and I'm not generalising, and I know this isn't exclusive to Americans. There are other countries that seem to have this kind of imperialist attitude, and of course this is a small minority of Americans, probably predominantly 12-year-old boys that have played the Call of Duty series and think they're bloody experts on everything, military wise. And I was talking to this one guy once who was about 16 or 17, and he was convinced that it was 3 American divisions came in Normandy during the Second World War that pretty much drove the German army, the Wehrmacht in its full glory, back hundreds of miles into West Germany, and basically forced the German surrender. And I just thought, this is beyond stupid. I've got a lot of respect for any country that anyone that laid their life down, not just on the Allied side but on the Axis side, because the majority of these young men, even the Germans and the Japanese, were just conscripts that were basically told either fight or get shot by our own men. These guys thought they were doing what was good for their country, but anyway, I've got a lot of respect for any American who put their life on the line or even got injured or killed during the Second World War. However, I would also like to remedy a certain misconception that's very popular among young Call of Duty players living in America. America did not win the Second World War, neither did England, neither did England's Empire, Commonwealth, not Commonwealth, just the British Empire in general. Neither did the resistance forces, neither the partisans. The Russians run the war. The Soviet Union did actually inflict 70% of all German military casualties upon the Wehrmacht. Operation Bagration alone, which was a Russian offensive late in the war, dwarfed the Normandy campaigns. The Russians were responsible solely for the taking over of Berlin, and it is quite reasonable, in my opinion, to assume that without any outside help, the Soviet Union would still have won the Second World War. Now, there are many people who would argue that outside help, like the Americans giving weapons and vehicles to the Russian army, was responsible for the Russians backlash against the Germans. The Germans did get, I think, within kilometers of the Kremlin in Moscow, but were driven back by fresh reserves from the east, predominantly supplied with Russian equipment. So really, the Allied victory in the Second World War was a collective effort, but I just want to remedy this common point that Americans seem to believe that they won the war solely. It actually really annoys me, and I see this as extremely disrespectful to soldiers of all other nationalities who died and fought in the Second World War. So that's my point. If you want to try and come up with some ingenious counter-argument, please do. I'd be very interested to see all your feedback. Again, this is not a generalisation of all Americans. Of course, this is only a minority. So thanks.